This is Becoming a Professional Bass Player. My name's Deborah and this is the video journal of my career transition. So let's turn all this off so that it doesn't disturb us. And we can get down to the business of the day. You want to know how it went, don't you? And overwhelmingly, it was a successful event. It was hugely successful. We were oversold and the room was absolutely rammed. And people had a very, very good time. They were really surprised. They had no idea how much an immersive disco would involve and what that would be like. Remember, it's been quite a difficult concept to communicate because people's first question is, what is an immersive disco? And the answer to that is it's the party of your dreams, that it's not just what you hear, it's what you see, it's what you smell, it's what you experience, and it's the creation of dopamine. So people just loved that. The sound went well. As always, there are always a few hiccups with sound because you're in different, every time we've done this has been a new venue. But overwhelmingly, sound went very well. The band had a fantastic time. They were interacting with the audience in a wonderful, wonderful way. I was hugely pleased with everybody's performance, including my own. And there were some really standout moments. The dancers were brilliant. The swing worked. Everything worked. There were no disasters, really. And for a show of this size and scope, that's fantastic. So, and the sales, what I really understood from our event on Saturday is this is an appealing concept and I can sell tickets. I worked very hard to sell those tickets, but I sold them all. So, I can evaluate which websites did better than others and which tactics. So some things like an advert in the South End Echo cost a lot of money, but I'm not sure did as much as me standing outside various venues with flyers. Sometimes really grassroots things are better. Other things that went really well. I'm going to just take a moment to, as this is about bass playing, so I'm going to take a little moment to think about the bass. And guys, my pedals were great. They were really, really helpful. So to be able to tune up on stage without having to sort of, you can't possibly tune up with one of those clip-on things at the end. I realise that now. So having a pedal tuner was great. I could mute myself when I needed to talk to the audience and not give Ray, my guitarist, earache by buzzing strings. And the funk pedal, which is, I've got it down here, what is it? It's the bass synth pedal was really good. That helped. I put that on just for Prince, but it just gave it a bit of an 80s electro pop feel at the touch of a button. So that was hugely helpful. And I played the bass solo to the brand new Heavy's You Are the Universe, pretty much note perfect. I couldn't have been happier with that. And I'd spent, you saw me on Friday, I'd spent most of the week practicing playing. So I was really ready and I didn't have to worry about that very much at all. And also there was a lot going on. So I wore the big wig. So I was fully in my Duchess costume, and this time the Duchess costume incorporated an enormous wig that sort of, you can't even see up there to my hands, but it was very tall. It had Sylvanian families having a disco in the middle of it. And at the end, I was wearing enormous, great big pink angel wings that went with it. That worked very, very well. And I chose to do this gig very much in the persona of the Duchess. That seemed to be what was necessary to welcome everyone there, a bit like you would to the Court of Versailles, to welcome revellers and to bring them into your environment. You know, a lot of what we wanted to communicate was about love and togetherness and kindness and fun, joy, pleasure, play. And I really think we did that. Some of the feedback we got afterwards was off the scale. It was so lovely. People genuinely seemed to get that concept. The dancers went on the swing. It was all, you know, I had some lovely feedback about my horn section. Got a lot of compliments about them. People stopped to tell me how great they were or how great the singers were. So, you know, that was really good. So things that didn't go so well or weren't so much fun, because I do strive to be authentic in this YouTube. I don't like to present everything's rosy, because this is tough. There's no point denying that. They were very, very long days last week, and particularly at the weekend. I worked from 8:30 on Saturday morning till 1 o'clock Sunday morning, and then up again and back doing the pack down from 9:30 in the morning at the pub until I think it was 5:30 by the time I'd have got everything back into my office, and then from my office into the storage unit that we have. It was an enormous amount of work, and we had, you know, there were difficulties to encounter. So we had some people being silly with the swing, you know, so I had to stop and engage in that. There was a moment, overwhelmingly, the feedback was fantastic, but you can't please all of the people all the time. There was one person that had a particularly strong reaction to the Duchess and was really unpleasant to me as I got off the stage after my first set, and that was quite sort of difficult to bounce back from. And just, it's difficult sometimes for a venue to know what to expect from an immersive disco. So consumers don't know what to expect, but also there's a lot of education that goes on with the venue in order to get them ready to host such an event. Well, we'll be coming through here and we'll need this space for costumes, and that's going to have to happen. And you know, this really isn't hiring a band, nor is it quite having a full-on theatrical performance, so it wouldn't be right to host it in a theatre. It is dance floor cabaret. So I'm the person holding all of those details together, the one person that knows how all of this has got to work, the finances, but also the staging and the music, and I'm holding the musician's experience, but also the consumer experience and the venue experience, what they want to get out of it, and trying to get all of that to happen. And you know, sometimes when you're watching those makeover shows, and like every week they're going, I don't know if we're going to get it done. I don't know if it's going to, you know, all come together. I've had a few of those experiences with Divine Funk because there is just so much to manage. This was probably the deepest one. There was a point where I was thinking, oh, is this going to come off? But thankfully, you know, I just thought, well, what other choice do you have? You just got to keep going. You've got 150 guests arriving, and the fact that this bit isn't working, you just got to find a way through. I did rely a lot on Eckhart Tolle, which we've talked about previously, being in the present moment, which really focuses you on what you need to do to achieve those things. But sometimes even then, in the present moment, I was just like, I just don't understand how I'm going to get all this done. But it is done, and the first show at the Railway is under our belts, and it was a resounding success. So, woo! And well done, I think, to everybody, absolutely everybody that was involved. Jamie and his crew, Caroline and the dance, and Liberty, our dancers, obviously the band, massive stars that they are. Martha and all her hard work backstage, the sound and lighting team in Callum and Stuart and Liam. You know, there was a lot of people put a lot of work into giving everybody a good time on Saturday. And I certainly got that lovely warm feeling as everybody left that had been achieved. So I will be back on Friday with more reflections and hopefully some more clips. We've got a short film coming of what happened on Saturday. So yeah, I will look forward to seeing you then. You take good care. Bye-bye.